Lost Light is most probably the closest thing we can get to an Escape from Tarkov mobile because it includes a few features from the original Tarkov such as gun customization, simplified human part specific, and temporary status effects, meaning you can get fractured or even bleed in this game as a consequence of getting shot at. And let's not forget the inventory management system. For those who are new, I covered Dawn Awakening, an upcoming open world survival shooter, provide initial impressions, reviews, news on mobile shooters. So please consider subscribing to the channel to stay updated on the latest mobile shooters. In addition to the previous mentioned features, Lost Light also includes the ability to craft particular gear, a weight system, a mission or an objective system, which is very similar to EFT, and finally it also has a black market, which is basically a player-driven shop system where you can sell and buy gear for a cheaper price than the actual store. Lost Light is a step up from Badlanders and definitely gives the EFT feel, but for mobile. For now, there are 3 maps, with 2 of them I've already played, and is definitely smaller in scale while also having less players. For the larger map, only 10 players can join in, which is a huge step down from Badlanders. For the smaller map called Factory, only 6 people join in. The game follows a duo system instead of the trios in the original EFT. Bots make sense for this game because clearly Lost Light is trying to imitate Escape from Tarkov. And did I forget to mention that you can also play as scavs, but according to Lost Light they are called Marauders. Marauders do get a randomized loadout to help out your main character, and yes, you can transfer your obtained loot from Marauders game to your main character's storage. Although you are limited to playing the Marauders 4 times a day before it does reset. Alright, moving on, let me talk about the pros of this game, and starting with, I really have to talk about the UI, because that's where I get really picky. But to be honest, the UI is done very well in my opinion. Both the in-game and the main menu UI is done very well, but in this case, the main menu is actually an interactable hub. The buttons are responsive to touch controls and you can customize them according to your liking, which is another bonus I had to talk about. Next up, I like how there are less players inserted to each map, because that's how it is in the original Tarkov, and I like how NetEase grasped on that feature because the less players there are, the more it strays away from the oversaturated battle royale genre. Finally, the recoil in the firearms I have tested feel more realistic than your usual mobile shooters. It has a punch to it, you have to maintain the control or you will miss your target. It almost brings me the Escape from Tarkov feel to Lost Light, but some people might not agree with me because they would prefer a more toned down recoil experience, but for me the recoil was pretty much spot on. Alright, as for the cons, the first one is that this game is in third person view. This probably is the largest and only factor in my opinion for making Lost Light an actual Escape from Tarkov mobile. It also kinds of makes the game easier and ruins the immersion. I do understand it is a mobile game, but that immersion will enhance the gaming experience for all of the players out there. Third person view also makes the game easier because you can check where the enemies are 360 degrees. You have eyes on everywhere, so ambushing or third-partying other players is much easier than the original Tarkov. Another con, personally not for me but for some players, are that Lost Light is more complex than your usual mobile game. It is a shooter, but at the same time has more complex health system and inventory management. For some players, this might be too much and would rather prefer an hop-on or hop-off system. So in my opinion, this is a con for this game, where some players might ignore playing this game because of its complexity. Finally, I do have some concerns mainly about the map called Factory. So the map Factory is literally the same goddamn map from Escape from Tarkov. About 90% of the map is same and has a more futuristic vibe to it, but it literally is the same thing, and I don't know if NetEase did this intentionally or they were planning to rework it later on. I don't want the Area F2 situation here in Lost Light, but you cannot ignore the fact that Factory has the same name and same style as the original Tarkov map. Alright, so we are there at that point of this video where I answer if this game is worth playing. And the answer to that question is a yes. And I know it is surprising, but this game is definitely worth a try if you're in Australia or New Zealand, or somehow get the app working outside of these two countries. It is definitely a more Tarkov-like experience for mobile, and for people who have been waiting for something like that, I think Lost Light will not disappoint you. But that's all for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.